Hi, my name is Hendrik, and after two very inspirational and very informative speakers, I think I'm the soft topic tonight. Speaking about events for nerds, geeks and gamers, first thing about myself, I think it lost connection. I have to do it. Yeah, but that isn't attached to my PC.
Take it out of mine.
All right.
I share it.
Okay, let's see if it just works. Well, I have to click a button. I have no idea which one. We'll see. I'm the geek, yes. That about stereotypes. The keyboard could not be identified. Well, happens. I'll do it again here.
You get it here in 2 seconds.
It'll work. All right, I'll do it myself. All right, this is me. My name is Hendrik. This is actually, I got my wife to do that photo shoot for me. She's behind the black bar. And so I tend to be a professional nerd. I do that in every aspect of my life. And when I'm not working at an advertising agency, I have the great pleasure of sometimes doing events for awesome people, namely geeks, nerds, and gamer. Some of the events I do is, for example, the GameCamp Munich, the Games Bavaria Vernissage, the Night of the Retold game, and the biggest event I help to do is the Super Geek Night. Has anyone in this room ever been on one of these events? Raise your hand, please. 1, 2, all right, some. 3, awesome. All right, and let's do a quick survey. How many in this room would consider themselves nerds? Please raise your hand. All right, all right. How many of you have ever been to a LAN party? All right, all right. How many of you have ever been to a live action role-playing game? Okay, 1, awesome, 2, awesome. How many of you know the Sindarin name of Gandalf the Grey? 2. I told you that one is lunch. All right, awesome. So we have some nerds, but it varies a lot. And that is the thing about nerds. And while doing events with nerds, I found out that there are certain things you have to look for when handling nerds, because they are special, not as special as they think they are, but they are different. Here you see some pictures from the Super Geek Night, an awesome event we did last summer. And the first thing, or number 10 on the list of the 10 things you should really do while handling nerds on an event is care about inclusion. It sounds kind of easy, but it is really not, because in the nerd and game scene we have a lot of people with mental and physical disabilities, because it kind of makes sense for them being nerds and being geeks and being one of us. And you don't have to create your event around of them. Totally not necessary. But you have to think about them, how you can include them to your event, how to make it a bit easier for them to approach you. For example, my wonderful friends from the item shop, led by a wonderful woman named Raphael, make an event called the Geek Dating, which is essentially a speed dating event for geeks. And every time they do this event, they have special buttons, like I need help for people with social anxieties, with, for example, Asperger's. We have a lot of them. And they can use these buttons to identify themselves as such. And this button never gets used. Not because they don't want to show that, but they don't need that. The fact that this button alone is statement enough that they have been thought of. We have thought about the problem they have, so they don't have to think about it themselves on that event. And that gives them the freedom to move and speak and interact with everyone totally free. And it's a wonderful thing to witness. The second thing I would consider important is be original. We have a box like that, I believe, standing over there. Always a nice thing to have. No one wants to experience an event like there are thousands in the world. Like, for example, 12 Minutes Me. You probably did that because it didn't exist before and you wanted to close the gap. Same thing with the Nerd and Geek events. Everyone can do a 90s trash party, play some video game music and call it a geek party. It isn't. And so on, be original, try to do something new. All right, number 8, have a cause. That sounds more serious than it really is. Every event on that list you saw in the beginning had some sort of idea behind. For example, the GameCamp, which is a bar camp for game students and young game developers, was created because it simply didn't exist. We had the big, expensive conferences, but nothing really existed for young game makers and young programmers, so we created that. Like the Super Geek Night, a party for geeks and nerds and real gamers. It didn't exist, simply as that. And so the guys at the item shop did that. As easy as it is. Number 7, ask for help. Very important. That is the theme of the 3rd year of GameCamp Munich, I believe. Wonderful team. I was asked for help. And of course I helped, because in the gaming scene, in the geek scene, we like to help each other. Because there is so little events for us, so we all help together, and these guys all do it for free, I do it for free, to make the scene in Munich, in Germany, better. And so don't be afraid to ask for help, most likely you will get it. Number 6 is, who knows this video? Awesome video. Just do it. Shia LaBeouf did a very inspirational, motivational video on YouTube, I believe. And that's basically the whole thing. Don't overthink it. Don't be afraid to fail, because everyone fails once in a time. The only thing you should be afraid of is not standing back up again. So don't be afraid to fail. Everyone does once in a while. Just do it. Start doing it. Don't think about it for too much, because that will come in the process. Like Peng said, jump down the cliff and try to figure out the plane on the way down. That's probably the best way to do it. See? Number 5, be authentic. Don't claim to be something you're not. Do you think this guy knew the Sindarin name of Gandalf the Grey? I bet he did. And I bet he knows a whole lot more about Gandalf the Grey than I will ever know. And so I see that a lot in moderators and speakers when they speak about games. They act like they know it, but dude, I know you have never played Counter-Strike. Don't act like you have. And so it is kind of obvious if you're a nerd and if you're talking to nerds, you have no idea how much that guy in front of you knows about Doctor Who. And I say to you, he knows a lot. So be authentic. Number 4, keep communicating. This is very important in the internet and the geek and the nerd scene, because a lot of people will start approaching you if you have an open style and try to make the event better and start interfering with you. They don't do that because they think you suck. Some of them will, but most of the time they do that because they care. They want to make that better. All right, time is rushing a bit. So don't get startled by people trying to talk to you. Always keep a channel open on your TeamSpeak server. I believe everyone has one. Number 3, sounds easy, don't be evil. Don't try to rip off people. In the nerd and geek scene, it happens. But if you enter the nerd and geek scene and the internet, you enter the playing field of the professional troll. If anyone has had ever the fun to handle an internet troll, you will note that it is not fun to handle an internet troll. And if you are evil, if you do something sketchy, they will find out and they will tear you apart. But don't give them a reason to do that and you're fine. So don't be evil. Number 2, on an event for geeks and nerds and gamers, it's often the little things that matter. I can't stretch that hard enough. For example, on the image you see a treasure map. We had the pleasure of having the Feuerwerk here in Munich as a location, and the Feuerwerk is a bit complicated because it has some rooms apart and another location across the street, and it was kind of hard to find. So what do the gamers do? They draw a map, of course, and we had about 2,000 of them printed, and we're handing them out at the entrance, and so every one of our attendees had a treasure map they could draw in, and it was fantastic. It was such a little investment. It cost like less than 300 euros to have them, but they loved it. They absolutely loved it. Or for example, on the GameCamp Munich, which is a 2-day bar camp, on the Sunday we had like a spontaneous cake meeting where everyone was bringing cake and we had cake together. All right, let me come to number 1, enjoy your event. I have seen people drown in their event. On the event, there's nothing you can do about it. If I start doing stupid stuff now, Hannah couldn't do anything about it, so I hope. So just enjoy your event. That brings me to the final part. Thank you to any one of my teammates, participants, and awesome people I have the pleasure to work with. You are awesome. Robin over there, he's an awesome guy. I think he's the only one from one of my organization teams. All right, that's basically it. Thank you very much.